Video production is a three-step process, which is pre-production, production, and post-production. But do you know exactly what is involved in each of these steps? All production needs to have adherence to these particular processes, because if you miss out any, then it means you are going to face challenges in the future. So maybe there'll be delays in your production, maybe there will be no accountability, maybe even the story itself is not going to be that appealing enough. So I'm going to take us through the three steps of production so that we can all understand what we need to do in each level of production. So what is pre-production? Pre-production is the planning stage. This is where all the ideation has to come in. This is where you need to organize your write-ups. You need to have the meetings so that you can do your scripting properly. You need to have strategy development at this particular stage. If you miss out on any of this, whether it is video strategy and goals, you need to know what goals do you entail to have in this content you're producing. If you do not put your goals in a targeted way, whereby you're trying to put a goal with a specific target audience, then you're going to miss the entire scope of your video. You'll be creating content without an ideal objective in it, right? The other thing is, this is where budget are being developed. There is no production without budget. The equipments are not for free. The crew that are going to work with you are not for free. Anybody who is coming to put their skills into that particular masterpiece is not going to go away for free, So you need to put proper budgeting, and that is, you need to put some people who are good in those fields, whether it's accountants, people who are good with the budgeting processes, has to be put into priority when it comes to this particular stage, pre-production. Another thing is story selection. If you don't have a compelling story, you are destined to fail. Stories are supposed to be at the core of that particular content you're creating. If you do not have a story, you just can't create content for the sake of creating because you have the best equipment. You have to create content because you have an audience that is actually waiting to consume that particular content. And I always advocate for solution-based content production, whereby you're not creating content just for the sake of entertainment. You're creating content that has value. I always advocate for that. So the type of story that you're going to put shouldn't be the kind of story that is going to victimize people. Shouldn't be the kind of story that is negative. Just imagine making story that is always negative. What are you trying to put to your community? So story selection is very essential here. Script creation. This is why you have to bring the screenwriters. Mostly I've been talking about scripting for social media content. But here, you can imagine you are working for a TV production. You're working for a feature film production. So you need to have a massive team of script writers, screenwriters who are essentially very well skilled and knowledgeable in terms of writing for TV or for films or for that particular advert that you're trying to work on. So scripting is also essential. You cannot go to production without having the content, and content is at the scripting levels, right? So another thing is, now this is where you get the talent. You will do your auditions, talented characters. There's that character bible that you have to develop so that you can be able to know exactly the type of person that you're looking for to match that particular skill set that your script is trying to communicate. So when you get the person that is not in that character bible, then you've failed, right? So you need to carry out numerous auditions so that you can be able to get the right people for the right job. An audition is just like an interview that you always go to apply for a job, but here you're being given that job upon merit. You don't just come because you look good, you come because you can actually execute the task at hand. Another thing is production teams. This is where you get to know your crew. You need to get to hire the best people that can actually work very well with you. If you get somebody who knows how to work best with equipment, and they are good at teamwork, then you have the best crew. Another thing is location scouting. You need to go out and look for places that are ideal for the story you're trying to film. Identify the best location, and actually you can get multiple locations and then look at their particular legal, paperwork that is required. Some locations require licensing. You cannot go film without licenses. For example, the type of equipment you want to use is a drone, and that particular location is ideal for you, but you cannot use a drone. So you have to look for places that are ideal for you, and you can be able to execute whatever you want to do with your equipments, and your character are not going to be having any challenges in terms of transportation, those kind of things. So now you have the content in the script, you have the budget, you have the team, you have the equipment. Now what do you do next? And you have a strategy to actually execute it. The next is now production. Production is where now you put your team to now start executing the roles that they were actually hired to do, where we have setting, sound, lighting, those technical aspect of camera operations, the locations, you have to set the light in terms of a certain mood, to set a certain mood. So you have to set your light if it's interior shots, exterior shots, whatever type of shots you want to take. This is now the technical people who are going to be handling that, and I'm going to talk about the crew in another video, separate video from this. Here we just need to understand this is the overview of production. So we have production where you have the crew going to start doing the work, and then you have to also start conducting interviews. For example, this is not a dramatized program. Maybe this is a documentary. Maybe this is a program that entails interviews. So you have to now start scheduling your interviews so that you can be able to interview those particular people for the documentary or that feature program that you're producing. Another thing, now start recording voiceovers, the narrations as per the script. You have to go through them, right? Another thing is now you have to also capture B-rolls. So we have the A-rolls, the B-rolls, and those kind of videos that are going to be used to ensure that the story is properly told to the audience, right? You need to shoot as much as possible. This is the time where you have to get almost everything that you want, because if you cannot get the right video, the right content while you're filming, you're not going to be able to correct it while you're editing, right? So you need to ensure that everything that is per the script and the storyboard is already filmed, so that when you give the editor at the post-production, they're not going to be telling you, please go, I need this particular shot, why didn't you shoot? Why did you take this angle, why didn't you take another angle? So take as much angles as possible with the equipment that you have, so that you can be able to give the editor, and they will not have a problem telling you that you are lacking such kind of shots. When you've already done the content, you've already filmed it, now you're going to the post-production. This is where the cooking, the kitchen, and this is where I'm very much interested in, where we do the editing of the video. So you have to ensure that you've logged in the interviews. This is specifically for that documentary or feature or whatever production. So you have to ensure that you've already done that. Also, producing the final story, this is where you do the editing. You have to also get a very good editor, and then the content has to be reviewed by the director of the director of production. So you also have to give it to the producer of the content, so they can be able to review it. If they are okay with it, then because that is the fine cut, right? That is going to be the final delivery. So when you've done that processes, you've already gone through the 3 stages of production. The next is going to be a video on the crew, so that you can be able to understand the roles of the crew that you're going to be hiring in your next video. See you in the next.